This is going to be good. I asked Bob, I said, Bob, I called him earlier. I said, Bob, do you believe in free speech? He said, yes, I do. Here's why. I said, it's okay. Just, do you believe in free speech? He said, yes. And then I said, good, come and give one. So here he is. Bob Coy. What's the name of your book? Come here. Dreamality, right, Bob?
That's one of the books, Greg.
Dreamality.
Yeah, one of the books is called Dreamality, Greg.
Then there's What About Bob?
What About Bob's the other book.
And also, I'm Bob, but I'm not coy. That's new.
Yeah. And
his newest, My Church is Bigger Than Your Church. And right now he's working on humility and how I found it. So come on, you guys, if you would, and let's welcome John MacArthur, Chuck Swindoll, Jack Graham, and James McDonald.
still haven't found a place for Bob. You noticed I wasn't a part of that special group. I was here, and I was in the back. No, sincerely, I'm really honored to be here. And of course, you know, everybody is. There's a couple of guys that deserve to be here. And the rest of us are still wondering why we're on the list, you know. Seriously, the likes of John MacArthur and Chuck Swindoll, these are like the, you know, surgical tools that God uses. You feel like you're in this, you know, wow, look at that knife God uses to cut away and, you know, do that wonderful work.
And he did this. Just stuck it at me. And I knew this was not a good sign. So I went off in a corner and I unfolded it. And there were like all kinds of boxes and lines and things you had, you know, numbers 1 through 6 on gestures and all kinds of stuff. He had nothing. All he had written in red was, "You missed the entire point of the passage."
Oh, wow.
I feel a little bit more like a spoon. You ever put the silverware away and you accidentally put one where it doesn't belong and you say, hey, there's a spoon where the knives are at. And I feel like a spoon with holes in it. You know, that's that weird spoon. You go, where does it even go? Honey, where's this go? Well, we haven't found a place for it yet. And that's sometimes how I feel.
James, how did you get up here? Yeah. Aren't you Canadian?
What?
Aren't you Canadian? No, I'm kidding. Well, actually, he is. And that's why you're here.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm not sure. I'll help you with the questions.
It's like the Mount Rushmore of evangelicalism, except you.
One of the things I got a tip early.
By the way, Jack, James's preaching is like his golf. Long and to the right and always near a hazard.
And all over the place. Yeah.
What was that process like for you, Bob?
What part?
Well, of learning to study God's
The part
word
of
on your
listening
own.
to the question.
Yeah.
You know, my son likes to joke about Calvary Chapel pastor testimonies. I was a mass murderer, and then I found Jesus, met this hot girl, and started a megachurch.
And there were a lot of things that I heard James McDonald say that I thought, probably would have said that a little differently. You know, so.
Here's Greg's notes right here. Here's an example of Greg's. And then we actually found a copy of James McDonald's sermon notes. What is this all about exactly? That's just all he has when he goes into the pulpit. On there is, can we get a close-up on James? That's all he brings. This is very odd.
Well,
That's crazy what you have there.
yeah, look at yours. Wait, look at mine and look at James. This is last Sunday's message. And I don't know, is this a recent message? Okay.
Yeah.
But they both look a little crazy. Greg's the only one that looks sane.
But I noticed that both of yours are handwritten, which is what's different.
Mine are handwritten, and that's for a reason, because mine are always changing. And no, actually, these are not mine. I don't know. No, I don't know whose they are. Well, I might preach this.
Essentially have my messages memorized. It might not seem like it, but I think that that's part of the key of really having it. I don't really truly memorize it.
Can I just look real quick?
Of course. Go ahead, Bob.
No, I just looking.
So basically what I do is I have actually a typed copy of the main outline.
Are those the crayons, or is that like a
No.
highlighter? Is that...
Okay,
I'm actually very insecure about my notes. I don't let anyone see them. I did this because they made me. But I'll just say that what I do is green is all the main points. Green is all the things. If I get home and I didn't say it, I'll feel upset. And blue is all the textual comments. So everything that's highlighted in blue is something specifically a word from God's word and the explanation of that. And then everything that's orange is what I call color. It's illustration, and it could be a role play. It could be anything.
Role play.
Yep, just whatever I decided I was going to do to keep the message
Do you want to
on track.
talk about role play?
Yeah.
So you're getting.
I can think of so many things to say about that,
Wait.
but my sanctification filter will not let it through.
So.
Talking about the balance of devotions and then your prep for your messages.
I read a Hebrew Bible.
Wow.
No, that's not true.
Yes.
I use a 2-year Bible, is what I do for devotions.
Very nice.
And then
for young guys in ministry, young people in ministry, or anybody in ministry, to be able to kind of pick your brain about a few things. I think first of all, just if you guys could go back and to the beginnings of your church plants and to the beginnings of you in ministry, what would you tell yourself? Billy, you mentioned talking to Billy, asking him that question. So now let me ask you this. What would young Greg, James, and Bob say to themselves at the beginning if you had it to do all over again?
I'd say don't do it. Just skip the whole thing. I think I would have made a good men's clothing salesman or something like that. Maybe not.
I have a lot of things I would do differently, a lot. But the thing that came to my mind when you asked me that was you make so many...
I actually don't have that much. You have a lot. And wow, that's sad. For some reason, I just felt really sympathetic just now. Wow.
I do also admit that I work hard on introductions, and I find if I'm lazy, I'll leave out a conclusion. And I say to my own embarrassment, I'm not always real great with conclusions. But I've never seen it fail when you really, it's like taking off and landing that plane. If you have a real good takeoff, the flight may be a little rugged, and a real good landing, it was a good flight. A message is like that. It kind of cinches it in place like that well-driven nail we read about today. Something that ties in with everyone's life. I have a simple little rule. I won't keep going on here. I talk about this forever. But the opening line I learned from Haddon Robinson, one of my teachers, ought never be more than 14 words.
And I know that my first 14 words are really important. But I know that I'm going to take off and go up really fast. Try my best that there's not too many turbulence, and then bring you down very nicely. That's what I'll do, Lord willing. I'm going to be serious today. I don't know why you're laughing at that. I was talking with John MacArthur about humor in the pulpit.
No, I'd do it again. I'd definitely 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 do it again.